crypto market seems to be holding incredibly critical levels right now. So on today's show, we're going to assess what those levels are and which levels the bulls need to reclaim in order for prices to move back towards the upside. Short time frame levels are risk off, so moving towards the downside. High time frame is still in an uptrend, so we're going to have a look at all things crypto today. We're going to have a look at hacks as well that's been going on within the crypto market with the wormhole bridge, which was just released. So stay tuned till the very end of the show. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. And then, of course, as always, I do have one new token which I'm looking at today as well. So far, we've had a lot of bangers, with many of them up between anywhere from 2 to 10x on the calls that we've given this week. So we'll review some of those prior calls. We'll have a look at those, and I'll give you the new tokens as well. Make sure you smash the like button, guys, and then let me know as well in the poll section below. If you go into the chat, you'll be able to vote over there. What is Bitcoin's most probable downside target? Let's say the worst case scenario with this downside move. Where do you think it ends? I want to know the community's thoughts. $58,000, $50,000, $45,000, or $20,000. It looks like the vast majority are more optimistic, looking at $58,000. But make sure you go below, cast your vote over there. Also smash the like button, and then let's get into the show content. Of course, it's looking pretty bleak on the banter bubbles. Even on the hourly chart, the coins continue to sell off in the top 100. On the daily, look at that. Most of it is red, so giving up a lot of the gains. Weekly, also red. What about the monthly? Even now on the monthly time frame, some of the coins are starting to turn red, so losing those gains following what had been a monumental run for the crypto market as a whole. But the yearly, we still are up, right? We're still up a lot based off those first quarter gains, and it can't only be up only forever, right? There will be pullbacks along the way or sideways consolidations, which is very, very healthy for the prolonged sustainability of the bull run, right? If you go up only, then it leads into the blow off top, which means a much shorter cycle, which is great, right? If you want to make quick money, but you're not going to make more money, you're just going to make quick money. If you want to make more money, you want to see this. You want to see the pullbacks, you want to see the consolidations, and you want to see new bases of support being built up. Now, a couple of reasons for the pullback. There's really always two fundamental reasons, right, when it comes to the crypto market. One reason that we have is because there's going to be ultimately non-farm employment change results, which is going to be coming out later with the US unemployment rate. That's a high economic impact event, which is coming out at least 2:30 p.m. my time, so later for the US when you do start to wake up. These results will come out, and that's expected to bring a little bit of volatility in the market. So the market is starting to move into risk off just ahead of those announcements. And then there's also been an increase in the geopolitical tensions around the world. Now, we're not a political channel, so I'm not even going to dive into any of that, but just understand that's pretty much one of the reasons, right, that the market is starting to pull back. But Bitcoin, here it is. This is the key level, so you expect the consolidation to continue to pretty much oscillate around that key $69,000 level. And you better bet your best dollar that when that $69,000 level is eventually convincingly flipped into support, that is going to be an incredibly strong springboard or base of support, which should catapult price a lot higher. So those are the levels, right? As long as we remain above that $59,000 level, we continue to remain bullish, and anything that's below that, well, that will start to shift the risk on even the high time frames towards the downside. So those are the levels that we're watching over there. If you look at the 5-day time frame, this is using our short, our medium, and our long-term moving average, and ultimately this really helps you to govern your trades, your swing trades, right? Or as an investor, how exposed you should be to the market. And if you look at this over here, if we do start to close this 5-day candle, the next one, which we've only just opened it, so we have another 4 days and 17 hours to go. If you close below the short and the medium time frame moving average, well, then you have to look down to the next level of support, which is going to line up with the long-term moving average, and it just happens to coincide with this area of support, so making that a little bit bigger. There you go. This is what you'd be looking at. this would be the pullback level all the way down to $51,000 now becomes a possibility. And of course, there will be bounces along the way if something like that were to take place. First, I would expect price to come down below $60,000, about that $58,000 level will be very, very strong support. And that will attempt to send price out of there. If it fails to send price with a higher high but leads into a lower high, then only do you expect something like that to take place. And this would be very similar to each of the prior cycles, which we call the pre-halving dump, right? The pre-halving cycle dump, or sometimes it's just after the halving cycle takes place, which we're about 2 weeks away from, before the Bitcoin mining reward gets divided in two. So for the newbies, Bitcoin miners solve complex equations using a lot of electricity, and they get rewarded 6.25 Bitcoin for every 10-minute block that gets solved. In 2 weeks' time, that reward of 6.25 gets divided into, so it's going to be around 3 Bitcoin for doing the same or even more work with more and more complex equations to be solved. But who could save the day? Well, none other than Tether, right? Printing another $1 billion worth of Tether, right? So they minted another $1 billion at the Tether treasury, and pretty much if you look over just the last couple of days, they've now printed 3 billion, so $1 billion per day. And this is what it's looked like historically, right? If you look at the prior times over the course of this year, every time they print $1 billion, this is what it does to price action. It's our own form of little quantitative easing or stimulus checks within the crypto market, and that leads to higher prices, right? Each single time it leads to a major bounce within just a couple of days of having printed that. So this is why it's very important that you consider all the different time frames. You consider the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, and the weekly time frame. You don't want to become macro bearish. You understand risk is towards the downside on the lower time frames, which we've been saying for a couple of weeks now already. You want to still focus on those high time frames, right? So this is what we previously saw when it comes to that. We also have another saving grace, which has been the ETF inflows. So they have to actually buy the underlying spot Bitcoin, and like clockwork, BlackRock bought 2,100 Bitcoin. Pretty much that was yesterday, creating a positive day for the ETF inflows. BlackRock and Fidelity showing absolutely no signs of slowing down on their buying. They now own together 402,697 Bitcoin for their spot Bitcoin ETFs. That is a lot of money, right? $26 billion worth of Bitcoin that they've recently started to pick up in a very short amount of time, right? It only started this year. Very, very, very significant. Imagine what the long-term implications of this would be. You want to think 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. Bitcoin is better than gold, right? It's literally going to be better than gold, more scarce. When we get this next Bitcoin halving, it's actually going to be a harder form of money than what gold is officially, as per the stock to flow model, right? How much new Bitcoin will be created versus how much more gold will be created each year. After this next halving cycle, it makes it the hardest form of money in the entire world. So think further ahead, longer term, 5 to 10 years ahead, right? We're still going to talk to the swing traders. We're still going to talk to the short-term traders. That part of the show was for the investors. You have a lot to look forward to in the future, right? As for the swing traders, well, this is your picture, right? We understand that we're still in the same formation that we've been in for quite some time, which is a bull pennant, right? A pennant squeezing price in with lower highs but higher lows. And ultimately, these are the levels to reclaim. It still remains exactly the same. Price needs to get above that $71,400 zone. And then let's just quickly readjust that pivot level. The pivot level is now at $69,000. So this has risen ever so slightly. That is the zone that you need to get above. Let's see if we get continuation today. Maybe there's some form of good news or positivity within the stock market that opens price towards the top side. If that does happen, there is a possibility that you could save the cross of these moving averages, which are still bullishly postured, right? In the sense that you have the 9 exponential above the 18. When those cross towards the downside, that's going to start to create the possibility of price rolling over, as I showed on this one over here. If you see that, that's going to be your first warning sign that the 5-day chart will potentially roll over, hit $59,000, leading to a bounce. And then that's the question. Is that bounce going to be a lower high? If so, expect that 50K Bitcoin does become a possibility. Okay, so that's what we're looking at over there. Let's continue on. Let's just turn this back on. On the other end of the coin, though, though, a break above $71,400 will confirm the breakout of this pattern, and then you'll see the sentiment of the market shift very, very quickly back onto the bullish side. So for now, low time frame risk is towards the downside, which is slowly starting to move or spill over into the higher time frames, and that could roll the higher time frames over. Again, this is in line with that 5-day chart. That's your next major significant level of support, coming in at $50,000 to $52,000. So on the lower time frame, you have the potential for a Wyckoff distribution, which is unfolding. Pay attention to this. If you do see a spike up on Bitcoin, which clears the prior trading range, I'm going to show you on the 4-hour time frame that trading range now. It's pretty much that $73,000 level. So if you look over here, this is kind of your trading range on the top side over here. So if you do see a spike up, this is what it look like on the daily, a big spike up, and you lose that trading range once again, that would start to show you that maybe you're in a Wyckoff distributive pattern. This is schematic 2, where you get an up thrust after the already distribution which has taken place, and that would look like this on this chart, right? So we've hit the CME gap, we filled that, we've reclaimed the 200 exponential moving average, which has overall been governing this uptrend for a very, very long period of time. Now we've tested it once, twice, 3 times. If we get the up thrust and we lose that $73,000 level, breaking back inside the range, then the 4th test of that 200 exponential probably gets lost, and then we have to look to that 58K zone, and then after that, maybe the 50K level. So again, tying all these levels in, this is what it looks like, right? This is your trading range. That's your trading range, right? It's a range until you break out and hold either above, or you break down and hold below. So you need to wait to see what the market does. One of these sides will get tested. It's just a matter of which one comes first. I still lean towards this side getting tested first. And then that's the question, right? If you can't hold above and you fail and you come back underneath that $73,000 level, remember this schematic. Go and read all of this, right? The up thrust after distribution, it's ultimately to shake out the people that are trying to reaccumulate. So then prices come back down, and then you look for the distribution lower. For now, I'm still holding all my longs on Bybit. There you go. All the longs are still on Bybit. We up significantly, but I will let you know if I do see weakness over here, if I see failure to hold above $73,000, I am going to be closing all these positions. I'm going to hit close all and pretty much exit all of these leveraged positions and look to re-enter them once again low, because there's no point in a prolonged correction that could potentially take another 8 weeks holding open leveraged positions, which I'm paying funding rates to keep open, right? This is essentially the same thing as borrowing money from the bank. You pay interest rates. So to keep these leverage positions open, I'm paying interest. That is the open interest rate, right? So you want to be careful of that. All right, let's see. Moving on. Something new that you'll notice over here on Banter Bubbles. It's always been on the mobile version, but it's very difficult to show you the mobile version during the stream. So now we can show it. You got the airdrop counter, which is on. This is going to be for the Gummies airdrop. Again, it's not owned by Crypto Banter, but they are pretty much conceptualizing the idea of the Gummies airdrop. If you do want to claim that airdrop, just pretty much sign in. Look, you can see on the right-hand side, I'm signed in on Banter Bubbles. It's a very, very useful tool. You can see what's happening in the newsroom as well. They're currently dropping information. For example, there's the 1 million or the 1 billion USDT Tether mint. There's constant things that are being dropped in over here on the Banter Bubbles, and then you get points, right? Those points will be converted. Yesterday, you guys, as well, you helped me. Thank you very much. But we still need a little bit of a bigger push, right? When it comes to the Gummy launch, go to the link in the description below. There it is. This is how you qualify. Sign up to Evo, sign up to Blowfin. I know majority of you already did that, but for the few of you which still haven't, go and check it out. Evo is a decentralized trading platform. You can click that link below. You can also join Blowfin. The beauty of both of these, one centralized, which is Blowfin, the other one is decentralized, but the beauty is you don't need KYC for both of them. No KYC needed. All right. If we look over here at the aggregate funding rate, it is coming down very, very, very significantly. Now, this is where I start to pay a lot of attention in a bull run, where the market starts to become increasingly more bearish on the timeline, on the Twitter or the X timeline, becoming increasingly bearish, whilst price is coming into very key support. And you see that funding rate start to tick on over, moving towards the negative territory. We've covered this a whole lot. Just keep it in the back of your mind's eye. Watch this chart. Watch this chart. If it goes negative and we're hitting strong support, what is the strong support? Pretty much 58K is the first strong level of support. Second one would be 52K. So here it is. Remember, I said one of these levels on the 4-hour time frame will be swept. It's just a matter of which one. If we roll over from here and we go down again, well, that would be a sweep of that level. If you see that happen with negative funding rate while simultaneously reclaiming the range, that is an absolute screaming buy. Screaming buy. Okay, let's make that clear for you. The alternative is true as well. If you spike up here and you fail to hold this, that is I don't want to call it a screaming sell, but that is definitely a cautionary sign that we may be going a lot lower, and it's a prolonged correction which is going to be taking place. Cool. Let's move on. Here you got the funding rates, which are completely negative. You can see this as per CoinGlass's funding rate heat map, and even one has gone, well, most of them are flat. They're not negative. They just cooled down a lot. One is negative though, which I found interesting, is BNB with negative 114.5%. So I don't know why. When I look at the charts of BNB, this is what it looks like. It's very similar to Bitcoin, right? You've been floating on up for quite a long period of time. And now you're creating a pennant, right? Lower highs, higher lows, squeezing into that formation over there. Now, usually you want to trade these patterns in line with the high time frame trend, which is still up, right? The high time frame trend is up, right? It's been floating on up. So usually it breaks out in line with that. So that's another optimistic sign that we do still have, despite a lot of the coins being red. Just keep an eye out on a lot of these major cap coins, right? They can give you a little bit of an early warning signal. The other sign of hope that we have is that spot has continued to remain completely horizontal alongside price action, which has really been holding that trading range. And one of the majority of the reasons why price is coming down is because of those leverage traders still shorting. We want to see people flip long again with the open interest shooting up and the funding rate heating up once again. That gives us those strong trending moves, right? Here you can see it as well. Look at that. Negative funding, that marked the bottom over here of the trading range. Flip positive, that marked the top of the trading range. And now we're starting to go negative once again. Very equally split at the moment in terms of longs to shorts, which could be liquidated with 305 to 315. So that's why price is ranging. I will observe as well using trading light as price moves towards the top or the bottom side of the trading range. Most notably, what comes first, $73,000 or $58,000? That's the question. Which one comes first? As that unfolds, we can use this over here to mark off the key levels, and we can see how many Bitcoin buy or sell orders are coming in. If there is something major that unfolds, I'll update you on Twitter if it does take place over the weekend. Right now, there's nothing over there. The market's still highly correlated to what's happening within the traditional markets, the crypto market that is. As TED Talk says over here, BTC and TradeFi correlation matrix, it's beginning to trade more like a tech stock on fluctuations in yield than it is a digital gold recently. If you look closely, you can see the exact moment that the market pretty much came down and realized a month later that the macro does matter. Look at that. It's been holding very, very similar. So you got the white line over there. It's going to be the US dollar. We're going to look at that as well. Very, very significant and important to look at how the US dollar reacts in the prior cycles and what that may mean for what comes next, right? You have gold in the orange, you have tech stocks in the pink, S&P 500 in the green, and then the US liquidity. So far moving very, very similar to the other markets. And I've moved the stock market. Previously, we had been looking at this on a monthly time frame. Right now, we're looking at it on the daily time frame because we are getting a significant drawdown, which might mean that we have to consider taking risk off the table and potentially even going short. So here's the levels that we're looking at, right? These are the zones. You can see the strong candle towards the downside. If we get continuation down now on the S&P 500, which is your top left chart, you are going to potentially break below this level, creating creating a new swing low. That will be a warning sign, right? If we do see something like that, that will be a warning sign for the markets. It's going to be the same for the Nasdaq on the top right and the Dow Jones on the bottom right-hand side. So let's just do one chart for the sake of time. So watch this level. If you break below and you create a new swing low, price moves down towards the 5,100 area. The next bounce over there, if it flips that into resistance, that's not going to be good. Alternatively, if it leads into a lower high as well, then we probably are going for a pullback in the stock markets. Remember, we did have our upside target, which has been almost met. We're looking for a little bit higher, but understand that you're fast approaching that level. It is possible that that level could get front run by the TradFi market, right? So pay attention to that. This will help you to determine what you should do with your crypto portfolio and whether you should deploy cash or not, right? If you do see this roll over and you're holding spare capital, that's probably the sign. Continue to hold that because you're going to get lower prices for altcoins as well as Bitcoin, and you may be able to buy just below $60,000 once again. Again, don't confuse this. We are not long-term bearish. We still believe we're in a macro bull market, and we will continue to be for, let's say, the next 6 to 12 months. That looks like the most likely outcome. But is this a possibility that this will be a major correction, prolonged correction that could last another 8 weeks? Definitely, that is on the cards. It's a game of probability. So you have to, as a professional risk manager or professional trader or an investor, you have to mitigate some of that risk. You have to keep cash on the sidelines in the event that something like that happens, and then allocate when there's extreme fear in the market and when prices are coming into key levels. You don't want to be allocating new capital into the market when we know that the stock market is less than 5% away from hitting our ultimate 1.618 fib extension target, which we made all the way back in October of last year. So keep that in mind, right? We've been long for a very, very, very long time. The tourists have pretty much left. Look, the tourists. Do you see the tourists? Look there in the chats. Most of you that are here now, I know you were here all 12 to 18 months ago. Guys, smash the like button, please. It also helps to get the show content out there. You can see the tourists aren't here, right? Usually the chat looks very, very different. These are all much more experienced people. Okay. Let's move on. So that's the stock market. We'll review what happens today based on the high impact economic data that comes out. And once that's out of the window, Bitcoin can choose a direction, right? If we look over here at the correlation between Bitcoin and the DXY. Remember, the DXY is the US dollar measured against a basket of other a basket of other currencies around the world. So ultimately, usually when the DXY goes up, risk on assets suffer. When the DXY goes down, risk on assets like Bitcoin and stocks pump. So if you look over here, this is a great tweet. He says over here, you want to know which direction Bitcoin will head to and how high it will top out in each cycle, then observe what's going on in the DXY. He says in 2017 cycle, the DXY moved from 102 points down to 88, and that led Bitcoin to move from $780 all the way up to $20,000. In 2021, it moved from 102 down to 90, so not it's a similar move, but not exactly the same. And Bitcoin went from 4,000 to 65,000. Very, very significant. In this cycle, the DXY pumped, right? It went a lot higher to 112, and it's now dropped down to 104. Bitcoin went from $20,000 to $73,000 so far, right? But the DXY still has a lot of room to move down, more than it ever has for the previous cycles. If it goes back to the 90 range like it used to, this is basically how we could potentially see a $200,000 Bitcoin, and it could be the biggest and most volatile bullish cycle for Bitcoin yet. And I want to remind you, we are in that 18.6-year real estate cycle, which tends to drive all markets, right? This is the everything bubble, the blow off top of blow off tops. That is still on the cards, and therefore maybe crypto will top slightly before the real estate markets do around the rest of the world. Either way, that's why I think we're good for another 6 to 12 months at the least. And he says, conversely, if the DXY moves up again drastically, perhaps due to more rate hikes or delayed rate cuts, which is also on the table, that's probably going to happen, then he would not be surprised to see 30K BTC again. I don't think 30K BTC I think that might be very detrimental to this macro bull cycle. I think that 45K is a super key level that absolutely must be held. Now, if we dive into this chart and you look at it, there it is. On the top side, you have the DXY. So there we have it, the DXY pushing towards the top side. And that was the move, right? That was the move where it dropped down from here to here. Bitcoin pushed up massively. So the question is, timing wise, it's followed a similar trajectory when the DXY breaks down. Will we get another breakdown of the DXY? If we do, probably very, very good for crypto. Either way, this opens up a massive trading opportunity. Now, we haven't spoken about the stocks and forex pairs and things like that for quite some time. We mostly start to bring this back into the mix when the market gets boring and ranges, which is a possibility. We might start to see that. If that does happen, sometimes the equities trade a lot easier and more, they respect the levels a lot better than what crypto does. So if you do want to join in with us in the coming days and weeks, and it becomes a slow grinding market, use the link in the description below for Prime XBT. They're actually giving you up to a $7,000 sign-up bonus because over here you can trade the global markets, right? Look here, you got different types of CFDs. You have forex pairs, commodities. You have the S&P 500. This is where if the S&P 500 fails this level, I'm going to be looking for a short, right? I'm going to be looking for a swing short for low prices. If you want to participate, use the link in the description below. All right. Let's get into the altcoin mix now. We've covered Bitcoin. That's it. You know the levels. It's a matter of what comes first, 73,000 or 58,000. That's it. Then you observe what happens when you sweep the top or the bottom level. Do you hold it or do you break back into the trading range? I think we've made that very clear. Let's continue on with the rest of the show. Of course, whatever Bitcoin does will have implications in the rest of the altcoin sector. For now, we're still holding this range over here for total 3. And this is a very, very good thing, right? We don't really want to see it just rip straight through this next key level of resistance, because then it will be short-lived and lead to what we call a deviation, right? If it rips from bottom to top with no real consolidation or pullback, then the clearance of that level will probably lead to a loss of that level, and then we'll be looking for much lower prices. So for the long-term health, this is really good to see. We want to see total 3 continue to just consolidate. We covered this yesterday. We said, if you do see that consolidation, understand that a lot of the pumps that you're going to see within the altcoin sector are probably going to be short-lived, because it leads to that rotational game, right? They're swapping from one coin to the next coin to the next coin, and it's a game of musical chairs. So please be aware and cognizant of that. ETH BTC is suffering immensely, and I think that you could be very close to an ETH BTC capitulation, because you now have a new swing low on a closing basis. This is the lowest candle that we've had on a closing basis since when? Okay, since pretty much over here, since the 1st of May, 2021. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Since the 1st of May, 2021, that puts it at literally 1,071 days. Very, very, very significant for the market. Now, you need to give this time to unfold, okay? Ultimately, if this starts to reclaim key levels and break structure, then we'll be the first ones to tell you, right? It is quite bearish for ETH BTC, but for the time being, let's just allow the market to do its thing and unfold. These things don't make decisions in one day. We need to see if it is going to reclaim these levels. That could be seen then as a major, major trap. But the fact that it's breaking down this trading range, the range low at 0.050, is something that's super significant, and you do have to speak about. Now, what does it mean for you at home if you're holding a whole lot of Ethereum? Should you panic out of your position? I don't think you should panic out of your position yet. I think you should give it time, probably a couple of days, and see what happens over here. Is it going to reclaim this level? Okay, if it does reclaim this level, that could be the mother of all traps, right? If it moves back into this level and it rejects it, then panic. Maybe. Okay, I don't want to say yet, but if you do see that, probably it's going to be going low, right? A chart's a chart, and ultimately that's what it's showing us. Lower lows, lower highs. Bitcoin dominance is absolutely soaring. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily losing dollar values, right? If you look over here and you measure it against the dollar, let's just quickly clean this up. if you measure it against the dollar, which is here on the right-hand side, then yes, it is coming down as well. We did warn of that. We said that watch for ETH/USD. If it fails to break back and hold this level and continue higher, then yes, that's bearish. That means you could potentially come all the way down to $2,500, but you'll probably come down at a similar magnitude to what Bitcoin is coming down, right? So pay attention to those levels. Just keep that on your chart. This is a proxy to help us understand what's happening within the altcoin market. And you're having a strong move over here on Bitcoin dominance. We said we're not making any drastic decisions in selling out of our Bitcoin into ETH or altcoins yet. We need to wait for a decision to be made on the Bitcoin dominance. And that decision would look like this. It's a matter also of what comes first. Do we spike up over here towards the 58% level? At which point that will be an extremity, right? Then I'd be willing to convert some even for a relief rally on the altcoins or ETH BTC. Or do we see this, right? Do we see a breakdown over here, at which point even that is going to be support? So we still don't sell out of Bitcoin yet, but maybe on the lower high, then we sell out, and that would be the breakdown, which could lead it down to 40%. So for the time being, the trend is still very, very strong towards the upside. And we went over the levels of or the order of significance when analyzing this Bitcoin dominance chart. What is the order of significance? Number one, horizontals. Horizontals are the highest thing that we look at. They're the highest ranking in terms of significance. Are we above that level? Yes, we are, which means that we're trading within this range as per the orange arrow. It's level to level. So if you hit the bottom side, you trade it to the top side. If you hit the top side, then you're expecting it to come back to the bottom. Horizontals have the highest order of significance. Okay. Then secondly, we said high time frame moving averages are the next order of significance or importance over there. That is the 200-week moving average, which means as long as we're above it, we're looking for further upside on Bitcoin dominance. If we break below it, then we bearish on Bitcoin dominance. So far you got two things that are in favor of the Bitcoin dominance bulls over here. Then you have the ascending trend line, which is probably the third level of significance. Are we above that trend line? Yes, we are. Now we got three things that are in favor of the bulls. And then the only fourth thing that we can bring into play is the chart pattern, which is currently a rising wedge, right? Rising wedges, once they hit their apex, become bearish patterns, which often break down. So out of the four things, we only have one thing in favor of the bears, the Bitcoin dominance bears, and we have three things that are in favor of the Bitcoin dominance bulls. So which side are you going to pick? I'm going for the three, right? I'm going to go for the three. They're higher priority, higher significance, and there's three of them above the one, which is the lowest significance on the scale where we measure the priority order, right? So pay attention to that. That's what we're looking at. That's why I'm still predominantly in Bitcoin, but I have been scaling into altcoins very, very slowly, building positions in altcoins that look strong. One altcoin that looks relatively decent is 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗢. Very, very new. So I told you guys, I always bring you I try to bring you something new every day if I can. So what is 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗢? Well, they secure crypto communities from fraud, right? It's an AI platform. It's an AI platform. You can go and have a look at it. Their fully diluted valuation is currently 33 million. There it is. Amazing. Works beautifully well. You can go and test it out. Go to the website, check it out. Ultimately, this is what your chart looks like, right? It's been broken out of a trading range over there. 17 cents is the clear level to hold as support. Big push up. Now it's coming into a significant zone. You have the upsloping trend line. Remember the order of significance. Horizontals are very significant. This is going to be a key level at 30 cents. So let's see if it holds it. Again, very, very low market cap, 3,800 holders. This is not a meme coin, guys. It's not a meme coin. This is a fundamental project. We want to see, does it manage to hold this? If so, that becomes a buying opportunity for potentially the next high low. Bear in mind, Bitcoin will have to play ball. If Bitcoin starts to break down, I don't necessarily then think that this will hold up. So I'm bringing you a couple of new things here as well. Also found something else new. And I figured, well, since I'm looking at 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗢 and slowly allocating, why not try to allocate right now? And how am I going to allocate? Through Volument. So I found an app, or at least a DEX tool, which allows you to do swaps. It's called Volument. This works for market makers as well. If you are someone that's launching a coin, you can go check them out as well. They provide liquidity for you. They do a whole bunch of stuff. But for the everyday user, what you would use over here is going to be MintSwap. Now, their fees are 70% less than ETH. So I'm literally going to attempt to make a swap here. And let's see, let's test it. Okay, this will be my first swap that I've actually made on them. I just found them. So we're going to copy the contract address. This is 70% reduction on the ETH fees, right? So we got the contract address. Let's drop it in there. Okay, 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗢𝗓. Yes, I understand. I do understand. There we go. Okay, let's just make a buy of, I'm going to go with 0.2 ETH. Okay, let's see. 0.2 ETH. Inefficient liquidity. Okay, I think that's too much because the coin is too new. So we got to go less. Okay, we'll have to come back to it. It might be too little liquidity, or do I need to use USDT? I don't have USDT on this address, though. That's the only problem. Do I have USDT? I do, but that's not enough. Let's just try one more time. I might have to fund this with USDT. No, it's switching. Okay, give me one more second, guys. Let's test this out. Okay, we'll have to come back to that. Inefficient liquidity. The coin is too small. Another thing that I wanted to mention when it does come to these DEXs and the swaps that you're using, if you look over here, this is from the wormhole release, right? There was a compromise that took place, right? They forgot to exclude the exploiter from the airdrop. So there was someone that was exploiting, and literally they airdropped the guy who was exploiting. Now, I've told you in the past that you should look as well on Twitter. One of the strategies, it's not the only strategy, right? It's not the only thing that you can do. I've told you that you can look at the official Twitter page, but you need to be very, very careful, guys. Look, wormhole, this was one that got wormhole verified. It is possible that a scam account can get verified, so it's not foolproof, and they have a lot of followers as well, and this poor person got hacked, right? Look at this, 𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗓. He says over here, what's up? Bro? Yeah, good on you?
So your community went and signed up for EVA, bro?
Yes, I told them, guys.
You broke the system.
No, they haven't. They need to go back again because we haven't beaten you yet, have we?
No, you're not going to beat me. You're not going to beat my community.
Do you see?
You're
guys?
You're not going to beat my community, sir. You're not going to beat my community.
Please, can you come and click the link there below? We actually in a trade here.
You're not going to beat my community, sir. It's not going to happen. I mean, you can try.
Why don't you say that to the camera, sir?
We have, my community's got 800 signups. You guys are on like 450 earlier? 450. You'll never beat me. You got no chance. You got no chance.
Guys, even if you just click the link and you don't even use it, please.
No, that doesn't count. My oaks are trading. Whoa.
Okay. Okay.
Can I just say something to your community?
Yes.
Do you mind if I come here?
Yeah. What do you want to see it?
Yeah, please. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I come in?
Of course, you can come for it. Go for it.
Can you make it a full screen? I don't know. How do you make it full screen?
Yeah, we go.
Amazing. So, guys, what do you think of what's happened to this guy over the last year? I mean, have you ever seen such a growth from a person in your life? I mean, the guy's he's become a fucking legend. This guy's become an absolute legend.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You've got one of the most, I've never seen anything like it. You're one of the most loyal communities in the world. Yeah. You've got people that are willing to pay, people that are willing to follow you wherever you go. Bro, what you've achieved is insane.
Yeah, we've done it together. I mean, it's because I'm accountable to them. When you're accountable to a large group of people, it makes it a lot easier, right?
Agreed.
They have a reason to wake up in the morning.
That's why we come every day.
That's why we are.
Well done, bro. Happy.
Thank you. Okay, guys, let's continue. So if you look over here, this was pretty significant. 𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗢𝗕𝗓, he's shown over here. Let's just bring that back up. There we go. He got caught by this fake account, right? And his wallet got drained. He lost all of his NFTs. I mean, shame, poor guy, over $1 million. Part of the way that you can protect yourself on something like this is diversifying across various different wallets. You have to split things. Let's just say hypothetically you have 10 Bitcoin. Let's just say hypothetically you have 10 Bitcoin, right? That is worth a lot of money. Now, is it not worth getting 20 ledgers? Literally, I would get, if you're going to be holding for the long run, get 20 ledgers. Put half a Bitcoin onto each ledger, consider how much is half a Bitcoin worth? $30,000. What is one single, look, I literally have 2 ledgers hanging right here. This is 2 of many that I have. You can put half a Bitcoin onto one ledger, which is only going to cost you about $150, $200 to protect $30,000, which is obviously increasing in value as the bull run continues. That's one thing that you can do, right? Also, split some of your capital if you're on centralized exchanges across various different centralized exchanges. It becomes an accounting mission. Use multiple different password managers. These are just some of the tips that you can utilize. Use a VPN. We partnered with NordVPN. You don't have to use NordVPN. There's Proton. There's a whole lot of them that are really, really good. There is a special if you use this one. They have an affiliate promotion with them. Use 𝗕𝗘𝗙𝗢. I don't have access to this, unfortunately, because it's not in Africa, which is where I live, in South Africa. But if you're in US, Europe, etc., they remove all of your data from these databases, which are essentially mining and buying your data. These call centers that bother you, the spam emails that go out with those links that you click, which can drain all of your wallets. They remove all of that, right? There's a link as well in the description below giving you a 60% discount. Unfortunately, this is not available to me, but take advantage of it if you can. What else? What else can you do? Be very, very careful, right? The biggest reason that you split the wallets is, for example, had he done this with one wallet, even if there was only a little bit of money on that wallet, they would have taken it, even if there was $1,000. So if he was split and he ran a test wallet first, they would have drained that, and then he would have protected his main capital. So we do get lazy within the market. I understand things become chaotic, but you need to take a day or a week and up your security as much as possible, right? Be very, very, very careful out there. All right. What else? Should we get into the altcoins? Let's get into some of the altcoins. How crazy is this? $1.6 trillion asset managers now tweeting about MOG, which is a meme coin. I mean, you can't even make this up, guys. This is crazy. Look there, the rise of MOG coin cryptocurrency on the Ethereum blockchain. They wrote a whole article. It's nuts. This is from their Twitter account. So this is the state of the space. I think we're still going to go up a lot more within the cycle. You just have to be patient. Let's review some of the prior coins that we went through, right? One that is absolutely flying and gaining a lot of traction right now is 𝗕𝗘𝗙𝗢𝗧, right? And of course, this is like Tucker, the anchor, right, that does all the interviews. Of course, it's a meme on him, and they're doing a great job. This is where we gave it to you guys in the circled area. I gave this to you guys on the 1st of April at 1 o'clock. It was on a weekend. I dropped it in Whale Room for the Whale Room community. The rest of you, I told you when we came back to work. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. So you probably found out about it here. And you're up probably over, I think it's like a 12x by now. So from here to here, let's see. There you go, 1,800%. I think this one has legs. This is one that I'm focused on, right? I don't want to go too much into the meme coins today. I just wanted to bring that one up and let you know that one's doing well. BlackRock is starting to form a trading range, which is good. I know a lot of you are in BlackRock quite heavily. So let's see. Let's observe the purple area. We're looking at a trading range between last couple of digits, 2,000 up to 8,000. That's the trading range. We want to see a big range build. Now, let's get into some of the other coins, right? The other coins. Most of them are down. Is there anything specific that you guys want to look at? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Anything specific? Okay. Hemio, it's all meme coins. You guys, you know that I know I have people that are complaining they don't want so much meme coins, and I totally understand, guys. But if you read the room and look in the chat, these guys just want meme coins. I'm just charting what everybody wants. They want meme coins, but I'm waiting. Give me the real coins. I'll chart them. Let's see. I'm checking the chat. Okay, what else? What have we got? Let's look at Casper. Okay, I see Casper, 𝗬𝗓𝗡. I'm looking at a whole bunch here, Filecoin. So we'll look at the file storage as well. Look, Casper's really grinding into this upsloping trend line. Very, very good chance that it breaks down. You will find support over here at 11.63. The bounce of that, if it leads into a lower high, means that you could potentially get Casper at 9 cents. Let's go to, as you mentioned, 𝗬𝗓𝗡𝗧. Let's go to 𝗬𝗓𝗡𝗧. Okay, so a lot of the coins look very close to distribution. And that's a question you must always ask yourself. is the particular token or chart or whatever it is you're looking at accumulating or distributing? Because the market's either accumulating or it's in a markup or markdown phase, so strong trending, or it's distributing. Put it into two simple terms. It's either ranging or trending. So is it uptrending or downtrending? That could be accumulation or a markup phase. Downtrending would be distribution or a markdown phase. That's the question you have to ask, right? This was, of course, a markup phase. Now you're going through the potential reaccumulation phase. You really want to see price action hold above this 29 cent region. You might get one or two scam wicks into that low zone, but if you see price close anywhere lower over here on 𝗕𝗓𝗡, then it is potential that this is going to be the start of distribution. Filecoin slightly above that. How's this one looking? Okay, that's the trading range that we're viewing. This was the old level that was respected, but we can move that up. The new levels that we're looking at for Filecoin are between $8 on the bottom side of the range and $11.50 on the top side of the range. So those are the zones. Those are the zones. Okay, 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗓. Let's look at 𝗕𝗘𝗓. I haven't looked at 𝗕𝗘𝗓 for a while, and this is one that I'd actually like to pick up a bit more of. I'd like to get a pretty solid position on this, but only after it's been hyped, right? You always have to look after you say that. Imagine how many people FOMO'd into 𝗕𝗘𝗓 over here. I always say that that's a trick that you can use, right? After the extreme FOMO, when your emotions are most intense and you really want that coin for the long run, go and set an alarm, right? Or an alert on your calendar for between 2 and 4 months later. Almost bet you anything that you're going to get it for cheaper. Look at that. Had you set it for, 3, 6, 9, 12, that's about 4 months later. Your alarm would have gone off, and what would have happened? Distribution. So now is where you get a second chance on something like this. Okay, so looking at 𝗕𝗘𝗓, unfortunately, this chart doesn't have as much price history as I would like, but I would say that this is probably going to be a pretty significant level. This was the consolidation that led into that major upside move. Watch $1.60. So we're fast approaching what could be a strong area of support at $1.60. You might go straight through it, but have an immediate reaction. If you do, and you start to hold that, this is where you could see the reaccumulation. And then later on, you still might get 1 or 2 spikes. So give it time, observe. Possibly you're going to pick some up at about $1.50. Okay, let's go to Solana because, of course, we know Solana also had some issues. I know in terms of its uptime, people putting through transactions 4 to 5 times to execute the trade and has broken the aggressive upsloping trend line. Your next level to watch it is, as I said yesterday, $1.60. We have to watch $1.60. Will it hold the support? It probably will lead to a bounce, but then is it a low high? If it rejects from the mid-range over here at $185, then you might be able to pick Solana up at 123. I think that if Bitcoin goes to 59K or 52K, 59K may get you here to 121. 52K Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure will get you here to this $120 range for a long-term buy. Okay. I saw somebody did like a super chat thing over there, based AI. I do have that over here. I am bullish on this. I am bullish. I wanted to see is it possible to get it at a lower price though. Let's just go into the daily. Okay, big move off there yesterday. That was a clear level, right? The technical analysis sweet spot would have been if you could have picked it up over here at 5. For now, I'm going to continue to observe what happens. Look, this could be a trading range that's forming, but the answer is it looks good. Higher highs, higher lows, fundamentally bullish. This is a great coin, $356 million market cap. Some speculate that this will flip 𝗕𝗢. So keep that in the back of your mind's eye, which means it could go up into the billions, right? Okay, what else? What else have we got? All right, checking the chat, guys, checking the chat. Okay, let's see. Let's go to Pendle. All right, Pendle. Okay, let's see. How's Pendle doing? All right, one of the strongest coins out there, bullish. If you're holding Pendle, I guess continue to hold Pendle. You can see the clear pivot level. The invalidation on longs would be a breakdown below these candles over here, which means you'd have to lose $4.48 in order for this to turn bearish. This is very bullish, straight expansion towards the upside. It is looking good. It is looking good. All right, guys. check out the links in the description below. Please help me out. We have to beat Run on this Evo thing. Costs you literally nothing. Literally just connect even a secondary MetaMask wallet. I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers for now.